the day has come. We're going to finally talk about smart cities. I wanted to talk about smart cities right after talking about the service of Amazon, AWS, basically because now that you know how you can automatize your website, your service, your business in order to make the investments in key products that are going to sell. Therefore, you're going to create rentability and also scalability. I want you to think about in the smart city just as those games that people used to play. I don't know if they do it anymore, but you have your farm, and then you put in this part of the city we need to put some gardens because we need some green areas. And this other part, there's too much traffic jam, so we need to open this highway and that highway. And who do you think was telling you to do this and to do that? Yes, AI. Exactly like that is how, in reality, in the real world, or the one that we live in, I don't know what's reality anymore, but this is how AI is going to tell us what to do, where to invest. And but this is not only related to the green areas, the trees and the flowers. And yes, it's part of it. It is part of it. But these new times, this new normality, this new world, it's something that should have happened a long time ago. I mean, people, and I include myself there, it would have been better if we were more capable to understand that what we do now is going to create an impact in the future. But the problem is that now is the near future. It's just now. I mean, we're living right now, and the problem has already been made, and we are living in that problem right now. So the concept of a smart city conveys the government authorities, municipality authorities, even police authorities, traffic people that the police that is taking care of the traffic. It's just. I mean, the world is going to be Amsterdam. That's exactly what I want you to understand. If you see some videos on how AI works on Amsterdam, you will find out. Now, keep in mind one thing. When I talk about AI, and this is something from the BBC, I'm talking about public transportation, IT connectivity, water, power supply, sanitation, solid waste management, urban mobility, e-governance, citizen participation, and public transportation. On top of that, I'm talking about dynamic information related to tourism. This is the paper related to tourism, because if it's true that the tourism represents a big part of the GDP, of the global GDP, it's also interesting to know how we can manage tourism in order to get that revenue, but without creating that much damages. Not only talking about the environment, but also in the social identity of a certain part of the world. You know, how can we do that? That we have the tourism there, but we don't gentrify the zone. We don't actually change the way people develop there. We don't speed up the way a certain community live. How can we do that? Well, this is it's actually not only possible, but it's a reality right now. How you do it? Simple. Once tourism starts, going back to where it used to be, what we have to do is to open new areas outside of the city centers, outside of the places where, museums and main touristic spots are. So when for in the future, the tourists of the future for sure are going to be more mindful of when to go, which seasons you can get to this part or that other part. This is how we are going to control the mass tourism. Second thing, how to find places to do things, to save time, to find the places to do the things that we want to do, and the services that we need to have access in order to do it. Well, if your city is not connected to a database, big data, that actually restaurants and hotels and other services and agencies and tour guides, and they are not there, people is going to be looking around the city to find the agency that they are looking for this or that service. And in the meantime, they are actually going to talk with other tourists that are doing the same, that they cannot find information in their phones. And this is little by little going to congest the city. It's just one of the many particular aspects of tourism that hasn't been well controlled because of platforms like Booking and Airbnb and many others. To find a hotel is a very simple and easy thing. But what if you want to find a bar? If you want to find a tour, do you know that tour agency is good, is not good? Well, maybe you can talk about TripAdvisor or in Facebook and stuff like this, that recommend this tour and that tour. But we already talked about that. There's a lot of lackness of authenticity in that content. So how can we do it, to make that tour agencies deliver the service that they promise you that they are going to deliver? Because it's a very common, it doesn't happen all the time, but it's a common thing that you go on a tour and you don't know what's going to happen. I'll tell you one thing. I went on a tour in the jungle. I was in the jungle and we paid some like $140. Okay. And the tour, they had a list of things that we were going to do. In the night, we were supposed to get on a kayak and on a boat, sorry, and then the tour guide was going to show us some wild animals. Now, what happens here is that there are certain points in the jungle that, for example, if you're too close to a population, to a community, and the community is having a party in the night, for sure, all of these animals are not going to be there. Okay, so it was a fun experience. I'm not complaining about it, but if this agency would have taken these aspects, that if the wild animals live close to a community and that night there's a party or a festivity or something like that, because it was like a big party, something like that. They make it every year, but the agency didn't knew about it, or I don't know what really happened. So the agency should have had access to that information before putting that service in the contract. Stuff like this is going to not only create a better experience for the tourist, but also it's going to let know the tourist when to go on that tour and when to not go to that tour. Therefore, when to overpopulate that area or when not to overpopulate that area. I'm just giving you some ideas related on experience and the things that I'm studying as I go. But this idea of smart cities is something that people has been talking since the 2016 and in South America and all around the world. Now this is a reality, and the technology that they are using in order to make this happen, this a reality. It's just like it blows your mind. So I highly suggest to get deep into smart cities, because in the future, most of the systems that are going to work perfectly in order to battle the COVID or whatever pandemic we might have in the future is going to be related to the concept of smart cities, IoT, CPS, and all of the things that we've been talking about today. So see you in the next video.